Hey there! So, you're looking to learn Telugu, but maybe you're feeling a little overwhelmed, not sure where to even start? Well, you've come to the right place. Today we're going to lay out a clear, actionable roadmap for beginners that turns that frustration into a real, workable strategy.
First, we're going to look at the common challenges. Then, we'll build a solid foundation with the script and daily habits. From there, we'll get into a really powerful three-pillar strategy and see how it helps with the two biggest hurdles, pronunciation and sentence structure. And finally, we'll map out your first 6 months. All right, let's jump right in.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about the challenges. Because let's be real, acknowledging the tough parts right from the get-go is the first step to actually solving them.
Have you ever listened to a Telugu speaker and thought the sounds are just impossible? Or maybe you tried to put a sentence together and it felt like you were speaking backward? If so, you're not alone. These are the two biggest walls that almost every new learner hits, and they come from Telugu's really unique sound system and its grammar, which is just worlds away from English.
So how do we climb over those walls? Well, it all starts by building a rock-solid foundation. And that foundation has two main parts: getting the script down and building a daily habit.
Let's kick things off with the script, the Akshara Mala. It has somewhere between 56 and 60 distinct symbols. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. That's more than double the English alphabet. It sounds intimidating, but stick with me, because this script is actually the key to unlocking the whole language.
And here's why. It's because Telugu uses what's called an abujada system. Now, unlike our alphabet where C, A, T are separate sounds, in an abujada, each character is a whole syllable. What that means is, once you learn to read the script, you are automatically learning how to pronounce words correctly. It's like a built-in pronunciation guide. I mean, that's a total game changer.
So, what's a realistic goal for your first 4 weeks? Here's a game plan. Aim to master the 52 primary letters. Get some paper and practice handwriting them. It really builds that muscle memory. Learn 50 essential phrases to get a quick win and build some confidence. And this last one, this is the most crucial part. Commit to just 20 to 30 minutes of focused study every single day.
Okay, once that foundation is setting in, we can bring in the core of our approach. Let's call it the three-pillar strategy. It's all about balancing different types of tools so you get a really well-rounded skill set.
I want you to think of it like this. Pillar 1, personalized tutors, they're the brain of your operation. They give you structure, they explain grammar, and most importantly, they correct you. Pillar 2, gamified apps, they're the energy. They are fantastic for building that daily habit and just drilling tons of vocabulary. And finally, Pillar 3, conversation platforms, that's the body. This is where you actually put it all into practice and build that real-world speaking muscle.
And if we break it down in a table, it becomes super clear why you really need all three. Tutors are by far the best for pronunciation and grammar, but they're not so great for daily habit building. Apps are amazing for making you show up every day, but they're pretty weak on grammar explanations. And conversation platforms are where you get to actually apply what you've learned. You see, no single tool can do it all, but together, they've got you completely covered.
All right, so let's put this three-pillar strategy to the test. Let's see how it helps us conquer that first major challenge, the sound of Telugu.
From most of us who didn't grow up speaking a South Asian language, the difficulty really boils down to 3 key things: knowing how long to hold your vowels, aspiration, which is just a little puff of air after a consonant, and retroflex consonants, which involves a very specific tongue curl. Let's start with vowel length. This might seem like a tiny detail, but it's not. It's huge. Look at this example. The word kala with a short I sound means dream. But if you just stretch that vowel out a little bit longer to kala, the meaning changes completely to time. Getting this wrong is a super common mistake that can cause a lot of confusion.
And now for the big one, retroflex consonants. These are sounds you make by curling the tip of your tongue backward so it touches the roof of your mouth. We just don't have anything like this in English. And honestly, this is where the brain pillar, your tutor, becomes absolutely essential. You need that real-time, personalized feedback to nail this.
You know, there's a really beautiful way to think about this. Mastering these sounds is like a sculptor carving marble. At first, it's just a rough shape, but it's those tiny, precise details of where your tongue is and how you breathe that reveal that clear, authentic, final form.
So now that we have a strategy for sound, let's go after that second big challenge, the sentence structure that feels so backward.
In English, our brains are hardwired for subject, verb, object, or SVO. Ramu is reading a book. You've got the person, then the action, then the thing being acted on. It's simple, it's a pattern we know inside and out.
Now check out the Telugu structure. It's subject,
object, verb, SOV, the verb, the action word, gets kicked all the way to the end of the sentence. This is tough for learners because your brain has to hold all the information in memory before it finds out what's actually happening.
So the million-dollar question is, how do you train your brain to think in this new order without constantly getting tied up in knots trying to translate everything in your head?
And here's the solution. The most effective way to do this is to not focus on abstract grammar rules at the beginning. Seriously. Instead, you're going to memorize common, complete sentences as single chunks of information. By doing this, by just internalizing the patterns of how people greet each other or ask for things, you absorb that SOV structure naturally, without all the mental gymnastics.
And as you start building these sentences, there's a super important social layer to know about. In Telugu, there are 2 ways to say you. Nuvu is informal. You use it with your close friends, your family. Miru is the formal, polite version, and it's the one you should always default to with strangers, elders, or anyone you want to show respect to. Getting this right is a huge part of communicating well.
All right, so we've looked at the challenges, the foundation, the 3-pillar strategy, and how to use it for sounds and sentences. Now, let's put it all together on a timeline because your journey starts right now.
Here's what your progress could look like. In that first month, you just focus on the script and those critical sounds. By month 3, you'll find you've started to internalize those basic sentence patterns just by using simple phrases. And with consistent practice, by month 6, it's totally realistic to aim for holding a basic 5-minute conversation and maybe even understanding the main ideas in a Telugu news broadcast.
Look, this isn't some impossible mountain to climb. It's just a path made of small, manageable steps. You have the map, you have the tools, and you have the strategy. So the only question left is, what's the first sentence you're going to learn?